The Project Rots from the Head by Colin D. Ellis. Narrated by Colin D. Ellis. Introduction. Before we get into the meat of the book, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about me. It's midwinter here in Melbourne. I'm in a small recording studio in the famous Bakehouse Studios in Richmond here in Victoria that has played host to many famous artists and me. People like Iggy Pop, Elvis Costello, a famous Liverpudlian, played here, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Beth Orton, and Olivia Newton-John. Wella, who'd have thought? You expect a lot of poor jokes like that. A bit about me. So I've lived in Australia for 5 years. I was in New Zealand for 6 years before that. I was a permanent employee for 30 years in a variety of senior management roles. I decided to work for myself 3 years ago. And yeah, really want to try and inspire and motivate people to think differently about the way that we get things done. I think quite often there's too much theory out in the big world there, and there's not enough for us to work on practically to change stuff. So I thought I'd give that a go. So here we are. You know, and I still believe that projects, when done well, can change the world. And it frustrates the life out of me that the project management profession continues to disappoint. The work that I do these days, I work with forward-thinking organizations who don't want to settle for failure. You know, I give them and their people the skills to be great leaders and to get things done in a way that creates an experience that everybody loves and talks about. I'm originally from Liverpool in the UK, so you'll get a sense of that accent as we go through. I can turn it on when I need to, but there won't be much of that. Every now and again, when I'm on stage, I get ever so slightly excited and I bring the full Scouse. You'll only get undertones of Scouse throughout this audiobook, which is, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you're a football fan, and by football I mean the game the world plays, I'm an Everton fan. If you're from Liverpool, you support Everton. There are no other teams in Liverpool. And when not traveling or obsessing about different ways that I can lift the project management profession, then you'll find me watching football or, you know, hanging out with the kids. Sometimes those things interchange. Okay, let's get on with it. Projects are the lifeblood of organizations. They're used to fix things that are broken. They're used to add to things we already have. They're used to build things that organizations don't have to keep them relevant or to improve the bottom line. However you look at it, they're absolutely critical. We talk about them all the time and we make the assumption before we start them that they'll all be successful. Quick reality check before we get cracking on the book. They won't be, and for the most part, they aren't. In fact, for the last 15 years, most projects, 71% of them, according to the Standish Group's 2015 Chaos Report, are flat-out failures. It doesn't seem to matter what sector, industry, or country you work in, less than a third of your projects will be successful. This is an appalling statistic when you consider that, according to the Project Management Institute, or PMI, the worldwide global body for project management professionals, over $3 trillion is spent each year on projects. It's like having 3 pets. Pick one because you'll lose the other 2. And a pet is a good metaphor because a big reason projects fail is that senior managers are only fully engaged in those projects in which they have a vested interest. We call these initiatives pet projects, and, funnily enough, these projects generally meet their deadlines. Whether they add any material value is a different matter altogether, but I'll get to that. In reality, there are only 2 reasons for project failure: poor project sponsorship and poor project management. This book addresses the first of 2 reasons and provides senior managers with a blueprint for continual success, just as my book, The Conscious Project Leader, did for project managers. Every reason we can come up with for project failure, and most report or statistics will come up with about 14 to 16, always come back to these 2 reasons. To put a much-needed positive spin on our challenges, the Standish Group in its 2016 Chaos Report identified the 3 key success factors for projects as executive sponsorship, emotional maturity, and user involvement. All of these are true in my experience, and all are within project sponsor and project manager control. In the past, organizations have argued that the leadership ability of project sponsors and managers is hard to measure and provide feedback upon. We've been throwing money at project management for years now, and we still haven't seen a return on the investment. The Project Management Institute said in its 2016 Pulse of the Profession report, we saw declines in many of the success factors we track. Even more concerning, the percentage of projects meeting their goals
Sample complete. Ready to continue?